Today we've been at the Royal Geographical Society in London, where we've been having our annual conference, and it's all been about giving a snapshot of what the charity does for horses both here in the UK and overseas. We're currently working in 6 countries around the world, and today we heard about 2 of those countries, both Lesotho and Romania.
This year's conference, I felt, has gone really well. We've had a selection of speakers, one from Romania, one from the RVC, and one master saddler who is working in Lesotho. The variation of our projects in international training comes across extremely well, because what we are doing is not only helping people in this country improve their knowledge in veterinary care by giving them these bursaries, we're also actually bringing people across from Romania who actually can see another side of our operation, and actually they can go back to Romania and build on our projects there. The master saddler from Lesotho gave a good description of the progress that we're making there, and I think the important thing is that the harness that we are developing will actually speed up the production of food within Lesotho, and actually supported by the government, this could be a good method of ensuring that we actually help to feed the people at a greater level.
A real focus for us at this year's annual conference has been about our work in the UK and the issue of education.
Today, on the UK welfare side of things, we had Rowley Owers talking about our Stamp Out Suffering survey. The reason we did that was to find out what people's perspective of the horse welfare problems in the UK today actually is. After Rowley came Tim Parkin, who drilled down into the actual statistics a little. And the most startling thing that's come out of it really is around the issue of weight. We've been carrying out a right weight roadshow for the last couple of years now because we realised that there were weight problems in this country. But what the survey has shown is that a considerable number of people either don't recognise a fat horse when they see it, or in many ways, worse still, don't think it's a welfare problem at all. Because actually a fat horse can die in more pain than a thin horse.
Research already tells us that there's a lot of fat horses out here in the UK, but what we have found in our groundbreaking research is the fact that there's a lot of people who do not recognise an overweight horse as a bad sign for its welfare and its health. And we know there's all the research in the world to tell us that a fat horse is very bad for its welfare, and we believe it's the single biggest issue of threatening horses in the UK is horse obesity. The single biggest issue threatening horses in Europe is the live transportation. Our campaigns team is headed up by Joe White.
Today, campaigns presented more evidence on the transportation campaign, looking at the movement of horses across Europe for slaughter. We heard from myself talking about the fact that since 1995 we've seen over 2 million horses transported in atrocious conditions, and actually we want to see this stopped now, and we want to see the introduction of short finite journey times. We heard from Dr. David Marlin, who talked about some of the latest scientific evidence and research, looking at the cases of horses being transported from Romania to Italy, and the research that's about to be released in the near future.
From a scientific perspective, if you were going to try and set out to make a horse ill, the sort of things you'd do to it would be dehydrate it, subject it to stress, you'd tie it with its head held high so that it couldn't clear its airways, and then you'd stress it some more. And actually that will guarantee to make a horse ill very quickly. And in fact, this is exactly the scenario that you see during transport. That's why these horses get ill, because that would be a recognised model of inducing illness. So there's a number of different reasons we can think why people should be concerned about the transport conditions for these slaughter horses. Firstly, moral obligation. This is just not the right thing to do. Why do we need to treat animals like this? Most reasonable people would know that it's not right to treat animals in this way. The second is there is legislation there, and people who aren't observing legislation are clearly breaking the law and therefore could or should be prosecuted. Even if you're not swayed by those arguments, the third thing is the threat to the wider equine industry. At the moment it appears we've got animals that have disease that are being transported almost in an unregulated way across Europe. Now this is potentially a good way to spread diseases across Europe into the sport horse industry, into the racing industry, and the impact on that in terms of health, welfare, economics in the whole horse industry could be tremendous. And finally, even if you don't care about horses, you don't care about the law, you don't care about the spread of disease into the rest of the horse industry, the fourth possibility is the spread of disease into the human population. We have certain diseases, salmonella, for example. We have other diseases that could potentially spread into the human population. We've had swine flu, we've had bird flu, equine flu could be the next possibility.
What we need people to do is write to their MEPs and ask them to sign the written declaration. We desperately need people's help and support in doing this, whether it's writing to their local MEP or asking their friends across Europe to get involved. We need help now.